Welcome back to the Black Carnivore podcast. Thank you all for coming back and for listening to these stories. I'm really excited to bring another voice to the channel today. We have Aaron, who has had spectacular success with the keto and the carnivore diet. He's actually lost almost 200 pounds and really taken back his life. And I can hear in having conversation with him, I can hear how much he has grown as a person and how excited he is about life and how much he is actually getting out there and doing things. So this really is an inspiring tale, and it lets you know that taking control of your health really opens up your world. It opens up your life. It's not just about looking good or fitting into that skirt or those pants, but it really is about opening up opportunities and changing the whole direction of your life. So sit down, get yourself comfortable, listen to this really interesting tale from Aaron, and I'm excited to bring it to you. All right, let's get started. Now, I would love for you to just, take a few minutes to talk to us. Tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, and how you got started with keto and then carnivore. All right.
So I'm starting now, and I don't really know where to begin, honestly, because so much has happened. But How about you? How about this? Just ask me how I got started.
Okay. How did you get started?
How did I get started? I honestly don't know. All right, so we're gonna go through an abridged version of my life. I grew up very poor, unfortunately. A lot of people, a whole lot of people. And I might be a little nervous telling the story. But all right, so I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna say it. I grew up poor my whole life, and nutrition was not something that we learned. I say we as in, minorities, poor people learn proper nutrition. There's McDonald's, there's just chicken and beans, and there's life. And I ballooned up to about 250 by maybe 12, and I was upwards to 400 pounds when I was upwards to 400 pounds when I was in my early to mid 20s. And by the time I was almost I was almost 500 pounds by the time I turned 28, and I had a very, very traumatic heart experience. I'll just say that I had open heart surgery, and that's probably the most difficult part of the story, the most embarrassing part of what can happen to your life if you just let one thing like your health go astray. And I didn't realize
how old were you when you had that open heart surgery?
28.
And
28.
Was there concern at that weight of actually doing, that's, obviously a pretty significant or pretty serious surgery. Was there concern about doing it at that size?
It happened so fast because, I went to the doctors for years, and it was always about just stay healthy, eat better, move more. The standard American diet, the standard American sort of regurgitation that we constantly get in terms of do X, Y, Z, and things will happen. And it never happened that way. So every time I went to the doctors, it was almost like a feeling of dread. It was almost like embarrassing to go to doctors. I go to the doctors, and all they're gonna do is tell me the same thing, and I'm gonna be. Do you hear an echo? Do you hear other people talking?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. So you will go to the doctors, it's the same thing, and
yeah, go to the doctors. It's the same thing, and I just felt hopeless. I honestly just felt completely hopeless, and I was just eating myself to death. And it happened so suddenly, like it was an event. When they tell you as a kid that, oh, high blood pressure can kill you. My blood pressure used to be upwards to 220 over like 115, 130. Like it was so high that I could have died at any moment. And it happened. I was sleeping one day, and I just remember feeling a pop in my chest, and I thought it was just heartburn. You know, because as you know, a lot of symptoms due to
Wait,
chest.
are you saying you had a heart attack?
No, I had it. What the technical term is called an aortic aneurysm, which means the aorta, you know, the main valve,
Yeah.
it almost burst. It tore, and it was on its way to bursting. And here's the crazy part about it. When I went to the doctors, I kept, because I previously that month before, and this is important for anyone watching. Anytime you feel something up here, get it checked out, because the nerve endings in your chest are so closely knit that shoulder pain could feel like a heart attack, believe it or not. GERD could feel like a heart attack. Heart attack could feel like GERD. The nerve endings in this area are so tightly wound that the signals get messed up. So when I went to the hospital, I
That's
said,
actually a really important point that I had never considered. So anything that you feel up here could be a heart attack, and it's really important to get that stuff checked out. So all of you listeners, please pay attention to that. Go ahead.
absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, please, please interject as much as possible. But yeah, I told him, because previously that week I had went to the hospital for GERD, and I was a chronic going to the hospital person. Like, I would go to the hospital every few months. I had a feeling of dread. I had feeling the anxiety of here we go.
I'm
When
sorry to
you're
interrupt again. Did you go to the hospital because you didn't have a regular doctor, or is it because you just had all of these really acute symptoms that, seemed like they were,
I
say,
think honestly, I think I would go to the emergency room. I wouldn't really go to I would go to the emergency room and just get better, and then just leave. I just tip this is the typical experience that most Black people
so,
do.
so you didn't go to the doctor, you just went to the emergency room.
Yeah,
And did you have insurance at that time, or?
yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
was always working. I had
okay.
insurance, though, but I
I
was
mean, I find that curious. Maybe this is just my bias in New York, but like every single time I've gone to the emergency room, it's usually like a 20-hour experience waiting to get to be seen. So I never want to go to the emergency room, but maybe in other parts of the country, it's not that bad.
yeah. Well, you know, New Jersey. I believe it or not, I think they're if you're talking about that, that's I've never experienced that anywhere I went to. So New York is probably just a let's say
Yeah,
they're
it's okay. It's just bad here.
yeah, you're living in hell. Get out. Um, but
I'm living in hell. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So what changed was well. Let's get back to the final parts of the story. So I went to to the hospital. I said I'm feeling heartburn. So they took chest X-rays, mind you. We'll get to the kicker at the end. So they were taking chest X-ray, stomach X-rays from right here to where my sternum is down, and they couldn't find anything for 3 days. Anyone who knows what an aortic aneurysm is, it's time-based. There's a clock on it. So if this happens, the chances of you surviving are X amount of survival. So I waited 3 days, and they checked me. They wouldn't find nothing. I was ready to leave the hospital, you know, and I can get into the deeper things. I was ready to leave the hospital. I was putting my clothes back on, and then the nurse or one of the doctors came running in and said, "Hey, we have to fly you over to St. Luke's right now because you could die at any moment." And
Wow.
yeah, I think it happened so fast. I never paid for the surgery. I never paid for the surgery. I wish I could thank the doctor who saved my life. Like, he was going on vacation, and he just finished from a surgery, and he came and saved my life. Like, I didn't pay for none of that shit. Like when I say, people are like, "Did you pay for that?" I'm like, "No, I don't. No one ever came to me. No one ever said anything to me. Like, I don't know." But thank God he did that. And it took me 3 years of, no, mind you, after almost dying. It's depressing. It's very depressing. I didn't just change my life after that. It took 3 more years of 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 recovering from staring death in the face before and that's when I discovered, proper nutrition. That's when I discovered,
Mhm.
keto and carnivore and things like that. And this where my life started turning around. And the second I started doing that, I won't say things got better, but the things that have changed are just I can't, from doing carnivore or doing ketogenic or doing something healthy. your whole life changes, and it has. It's, you know, for sure in a
Yeah.
good.
So, I mean, I'm sorry to take you back to a, a very dark time in your life that,
Oh, you can take me back there.
was,
I lived there in my head for years.
yeah. So what did that life look like? Were you living on your own? Were you living with your family? How was everybody else eating? And then after that experience, did other people kind of get involved in your life and say, hey, let's exercise, let's do this?
Oh no,
What did they
you
tell you to do?
you're assuming that people actually want your best interest in mind. When people aren't doing good, they don't want you doing good. Unfortunately, and I don't know if that's conscious or subconscious, but it's just an observation that I learned growing up. And oh, everyone hated it. You're eating all this fat. Like the dogma of
Hmm.
eating low fat, moderate carb, low protein is like, where is your energy coming from? Like, if people just stopped listening to the dogma and just looked in the microscope a little bit more, you would see that these are nutrient deficient diets. Almost seem like to kill us. Like I don't know if
Hmm.
that's too controversial to say, but from my experience, like I don't think I've ever heard eat high fat in your diet until I started hearing about the carnivore health space. And
Hmm.
talking to how do people feel about it? Oh, I was shunned. People thought I was crazy. People thought I was going to die tomorrow. People thought I was going to
Hmm.
just finish the job, so to speak. And as everyone, and when changes happened, when weight loss came, no one jumped on the bandwagon. How many people jumped on the bandwagon? Zero. They've literally seen me lose 200 pounds, change my life, do this, that, and the third, and no one. So it's like, maybe I have to lose more. Maybe I just have to become so much better
So
of a human being
after
that
you had the heart attack, well, the
you
aneurysm,
can.
and and before you made a dietary change, like, did people have anything to say about what you were eating then, or
Uh,
or
part of my
no?
language, but no, no one, no one cared about. When you grab my typical. Here's my typical day. Back in the day, if I can even remember, it's been so long. If I went to a fast food place, it wasn't just getting. If I went to a Chinese place, it wasn't just getting the egg foo young. It was getting egg foo young. It was getting some dumplings with that. It was getting. Listen, I love food. That shit tasted amazing, but everything comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. There's no free rides in anything you do. Um, but yeah, so no one said anything. They were enjoying it, but even when I offered to cook for people, they seemed to have a problem with it. Like, they almost seemed like I thought they were better than them. And all I was saying is, no, the food that you're eating is killing you, and that's
Right.
very important. Like, you don't know how many people that I've met that have PCOS, thyroid issues, fibromyalgia. Uh, if people knew what that root cause of that was, that's why. Why do I eat like this? Because I figured out what's the cause of all that inflammation. Anyone who's been in this health space for more than a year, or more than 6 months, more than 2 months, knows inflammation is bad. Now, what the vast knowledge of that you accumulate over years is what caused that inflammation, how deep does it go, and how nuanced is it. Um, for example, high blood pressure. That's inflammation. That's the water retention in your veins, in your body, tightening up around your veins, increasing your blood pressure. Fibromyalgia, which fibromyalgia means just unknown pain. If you look at fibromyalgia in the dictionary, it just means random pain. So what does random pain come from? Pockets of inflammation in the body. What does cognitive decline come from? Inflammation in the brain. You know, what does what does what does COVID cause? Inflammation in the lungs. And mitigating the inflammation in your body can save your life right now. I promise you that. The people. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. But yes, there are things you can do. There are things that you can, and once you learn this knowledge, it flavors everything you do. Like, as much as I love Chinese food, I will eat it maybe once every 2 months. I'm not going to pretend like I don't cheat on my diet. Like I don't, like I'm still not a badass. I love food. Who doesn't love food? Everyone loves food. But being smart about it, I'm going to take a hit. And anyone who's been doing this for a while, you can feel the difference when you eat not like that. When I decide to eat carbohydrates, I feel like I have a fucking hangover. You know, I just don't feel right the next day or the next 2 days, and that's only because the decreased noise. That's only because the decreased noise in the body. Like when you only eat one thing, you only eat meat. The thing that we were born to eat, like the vegan argument or the plant-based argument of today makes no sense. Again, if you just put a little more of a microscope on it. Where were the grains at 500 years ago? What kind of grains were they? Were they the same grains? Were they processed grains? With the quality of the soil of it? Like you can look back. What about 1,000 years ago? Where were the anything? It was nothing but when you wanted a potato, you had to cultivate that potato off the ground. You only had potatoes maybe 4 times a year. In Africa, definitely. Maybe in Europe you had more readily available things like that. But we ate nothing but we ate fruit and we ate meat. That's what we had. That was the main source of our nutrition. And turning away from that, eating all these new processed plants that have pesticides in them, that have lectins and oxalates and all these things inside of them that is scientifically proven. It's almost like they're trying to like harm the people, But
Yeah.
that's
well.
No, go ahead.
No, that's totally right. But let's get back to like, how did you discover, first of all, I should ask, did you start with keto and then evolve into carnivore?
Yeah.
And how did you learn about keto, and what was it like in the beginning when you were trying to get into that? And then what was it like getting into carnivore?
Oh, well, I can tell you the exact day when I started keto. It was October 1st, 2017.
Okay.
20.
What was special about that day?
Oh, that was the day when I moved in. I moved into a house, So that was the day I started it. Actually, it was 2016. Come to think of it, right? 2016, 17.
So you moved into a house. So did that just mean that you had more control over your kitchen space and food? Okay.
Yeah. No, I was looking it up for a while. The whole keto thing, before it was just a keto thing. I was looking it up. I seen it in my. We're gonna go back for two more beats. I tried every diet known to man before I got to keto. The only reason I landed on keto is because I tried everything. I tried Atkins. I tried with Jenny Craig. I tried Weight Watchers. I tried veganism. I tried vegetarianism. I tried everything, and my weight would lose a little bit, and then in a month I'd gain it back. And I was like, 100. I can only eat 100 grams of carbs. That's crazy, And then then a couple months later, it's like, damn, 50 grams carbs. That's it. That's crazy. Yeah. And then, years later, I was so adamant on not doing zero carb because I love who doesn't like carbohydrates. Nope. I realized that my body does not take carbs at all. It doesn't. Bless it. And how do I know that? Because of my body composition. It's obviously like if you have an excess of subcutaneous fat on your body, you cannot eat carbohydrates. It's literally that simple. There's no other. It's one through way. If you have that, if you can take it, then you can. If you can't, you can't. It's just if you have, and I have a absorbent amount of subcutaneous fat on my body, which means carbs ain't for me. So it took me a long time to get to like 50, 20 grams carbs land, and then when I finally did it, what solidified it for me? The first week of carnivore, I used to work as a CNA overnight, taking care of the elderly. And for quite some time actually, and bless you, the first week of my like I was doing my rounds and everything. The first week I felt pretty good. And I used to be a chronic sweater. I used to literally my entire life I was a chronic sweater. I still sweat like a beast, but I mean, if I was talking right here, pouring down my face. I would have to have a change of clothes. It was crazy. the first week, even I was doing my rounds as a CNA, like to do, all the changes and whatnot, I realized I wasn't sweating. Like in the middle of my rounds, I was like, what's this? There's no sweat on me. After being a chronic sweater my entire life, to that first, I was like, oh, this has got to be right. And then in that moment, I was like, chronic sweating maybe isn't normal. And when that changed, I was like, I'm onto something. You just have to listen to what your body's telling you, and it sort of just led me into that. Like I don't want to do carnivore. I don't want to just eat meat. Like my best friend could eat whatever he wants, and he gains nothing. But that's not in the cards for me. So yeah. So that's why. And I feel like even if you don't want to do for anyone who poor or minority, or even if you don't want to do carnivore and which would save your life. If everyone in the hood just stopped buying McDonald's and just started buying meat, that would literally change their life overnight. Like I guarantee you, in a week, they wouldn't be as angry, they wouldn't be as anxious, they wouldn't be as volatile. They wouldn't, like the way I feel now. I can control myself. Like the words that are coming out of my mouth, that didn't used to happen. this is a new thing.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
sometimes I think our ability to get fat is actually what saves our lives, because when your body can no longer put the
yep,
extra sugar into fat, that's when you just turn from whatever into having diabetes. So the fatter
absolutely.
you can get, the longer you can stave off diabetes. But when you look at populations like in Asia, where they don't have the ability to get that fat, they end up with diabetes a lot sooner. And and of course diabetes is a very, obviously a very dangerous disease, so the longer you can stave that off, the better. So that's our saving grace in a way, although it brings its own challenges having extra weight.
Yeah. Well, one of the theories that I came up to is that we don't like our bodies aren't dumb. Like we're not, like, gaining fat is one of the smartest things we as humans do. It's just the food system has sort of, let's just say, they hijack that and use it to their advantage. Like, do you know why we like sweets? Because sweets weren't, like, prior to 200 years ago, maybe, the way the sweets are now. They 20 years ago, we didn't have palatability like that. Like, when sweet means you're going to feel good for a while. If you eat a sugar cane that in 100 years ago, you feel like you have superpowers. Like, carbs have 100% have a place in the human diet. The way they're used now is completely not right. Like, when I eat, if I eat carnivore or just eat just meat for a month straight, and I eat Chinese food, I will lose weight. That's crazy. I learned that you can lose weight and eat crazy. You can only do that under strict parameters. You know, I can still lose weight and I will feel great. My muscles will be full. Like it's like every once a month, or maybe once every couple months, I'm like, I want to have a power up. I want to eat something and then I'll fast for a day or two. And that's the proper way of doing it. Now, if I were to go back and just start eating carbs for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, it will completely ruin it. I will feel like crap. I'll gain more weight. And so I usually try not to preach cheat days, but just know the option is available, and giving people who haven't heard this information more options is this is how we save people's lives. That's how we save people's lives.
So
Like, you don't.
how long did you go before you had your first cheat day?
When I did keto or
Well, actually,
carnivore.
so let me just sum up to make sure I understand. So you originally first, you kind of lowered your carbs. So you were around 100 grams of carbohydrates, which typically does not put you into ketosis. And then you went down to 50 grams of carbs. And then
Yeah.
from there, you went down to 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've always been a proponent of you know, eat, take your chances, like make those sacrifices. If you want to eat something, don't deprive yourself so much. But it's like I've always cheated on my diet, which is not good because it has staved off my progress. Like, I would probably have lost I would probably lost more if I wouldn't have cheated. But due to life is just unsustainable that way. Like I'm trying to, like in a perfect world, once I get rich, oh yeah, I could eat steak all day, you know. But when I have to, when I have to do family gatherings or
Yeah.
stay with other people or other people situations, and sometimes I just say screw it, I'm just gonna enjoy myself. So it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, because I'm gonna still get to where I'm going. It's just whether I get there in a year or 3 years, that's up to me. That's up to me. But yeah, I'm
Well, I
pretty.
think that is a point, an important point to make is about the livability. So in a perfect world, you do everything perfectly, but that doesn't exist. Maybe one time in your life can you, muster the strength to go 6 months without, falling off or having any kind of derailment from your diet. But, that's not real life. So what you're
Yeah,
describing is real life. And I think that's really important that, it is, pretty easy to eat this way and enjoyable. So it's not torture for 6 months,
yeah,
right?
and and I think the barrier of entry that some people in the health space sort of put, like the dogmatic stuff needs to fucking stop. Like
Mhm.
there are plenty of people who have curbed their message, because you're not going to get someone who is poor to eat grass-fed ribeyes every day.
Mhm.
That is impossible. That is, so having that sort of mind state does more harm than good, in my opinion. Because the people who
Mhm.
can't do it, you know, I've eaten burger patties for a week. Throw some cheese on it, enjoy it. Throw some cheese on it and enjoy it, whether you have to or not. Dairy's not amazing. Just like everything else, there's a cost benefit ratio. Um, but if you need to put two pieces of cheese on two burgers and eat that, two boneless burgers, do it. I've eaten ground beef and eggs just for a week straight. If especially if I don't have any money, but it's like it's better than going to McDonald's. It's better than than doing what you were doing. And
I
most
mean,
people,
hey, I think those are great choices. And I mean, I'd have to say for the last 6 months straight, my staple is either chuck roast or ground beef. So those are the two things I get. And then, I may splurge and get a ribeye, but my daily is ground
uh,
beef or
I
chuck.
the
So
my
nothing
only
wrong with it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I eat way too many ribeyes. I do not have the money for it. I I eat ribeyes. I would, but if it had to be between buying clothes and buying two ribeyes, I'm buying ribeyes, because that's the
Yeah.
energy that, like, I feel.
Yeah.
I know for a fact. The only reason why I could speak with such a place of confidence in what I'm saying is because I did it. I know for a fact steak feels way better to me than when I eat
Yeah.
chicken. Like, I love chicken. I love chicken. I love
Yeah.
chicken. The taste of chicken texturally way better than beef. You know, Especially if
Hmm.
you put some spices on it, I like it way better. But
Really?
steak.
I hate chicken.
Well, I
I
mean,
like chicken. I like the skin on chicken thighs. I buy the chicken thighs so I can have the skin. I begrudgingly eat the meat because I've paid for it, but
you don't
I
you don't like.
hate chicken. I hate chicken.
All right.
I hate chicken. And mostly because of how I feel. Like I feel
Yeah.
dramatically different. And if
Different
I
when
go a whole day without eating beef, like
it does.
the
It feels
next
different.
thing I eat, the next thing I eat has to be beef. Like I cannot go more than one day without eating
This
beef.
this 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 brings up a good point. I could tell you every time I cheated, it was a time when I ate 2 days without eating. Like if I go 2 days without
There
eating
you
beef,
go.
oh my god, my cravings go up. Like I
Yeah.
can't. I can't tell. I feel like a
Yeah.
different person.
Yeah.
That's how I know the effects of beef. Like
Yeah.
you really feel different.
But I do like chicken skin, crispy, like roasted and all that stuff and with the little spices on it. But I don't know how to get the skin without getting the meat.
Oh no, you should go get some thigh skin.
Yeah.
Listen, have you used the air fryer?
Yeah. I use the air fryer constantly.
You don't like the
Constantly.
chicken in the thighs in the air fryer. Listen,
I
thighs.
do. I like the skin, but the meat itself, there's nothing you can do to disguise it. It is what it is, and I hate that. I hate it.
It's 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 a choice, tomato. What about fish? Have you experimented with fish?
I mean, of course I like fish, but it's so expensive. Like I can't make that a daily part of my life. So, You know, I'll get like a bag of frozen sea scallops occasionally, but you know, a pound and a half is $30. Like,
Oh man.
so, you
Yeah.
know, I'll have my little surf and turf and occasionally, but you know,
Let's,
that's
let
not sustainable.
when I worked at Amazon, on my lunch breaks, I was eating ribeyes and caviar. And people
Now,
thought I was crazy.
caviar is good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
trying to live.
caviar.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
salmon roll and the nutrient. Yeah, it matters. Nutrient density
Well, you
matters.
know, you roll like that. So, you know,
I will. Yeah,
but you know, but then I have to remind myself, like when you say you eat the ribeyes and stuff, like I have to remind myself those times when I was like eating junk and stuff like that, the amount of money that I spent on food was tremendous. So you know, I don't give myself grief over any of my food bill, because you know, when you're going to McDonald's and then you're buying the cake and then you're getting the milkshake and then you're getting this and then you're getting that, the amount of
that's
money
$30.
that you
That's
spend
$30
is
right there.
tremendous.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
automatically $30 from the rip. Especially if you have
Hmm.
family members, you can buy a big chuck roast. Oh my, the,
Yeah, yeah. So
and
even
before
if that steak is a lot, it really isn't a lot when you really actually compare what you're spending on food. It's not.
absolutely,
And you
yeah.
eat less too. So it's interesting. Like I can't, you know, I can't get down more than like 12 ounces in a sitting. And in a day, I'm not going to eat more than a pound and a half. So wait, you're breaking up. Wait, you're breaking up.
Am I back? Oh, the internet.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm back. All right. One thing that people don't really understand is that the longer I've been doing it, the less I eat, the less I feel like eating. Like yesterday, I had a couple ribeyes, but I ate one in the morning before work, and then like I ate one during like 7. I had something in between there, but it's just like I wasn't really hungry. I only sometimes I just eat so I'm not hungry tomorrow. You know, and this the freedom that gives you, the time just like when you wake up in the morning and you wake up late, you're like, oh, I got to do this. Sometimes I just wake up like, oh, I don't have to cook. The freedom that it gives you is. I wish people understand it, you know. But hopefully
Hmm.
hopefully this video will bring, you know, some shed some light on it. I don't know how this video went compared to the other ones, but yeah, you know, going from almost dying to, I guess this would be a good way to bookend it and going towards the positive things. I'm not a regular person, and, I think the consensus is people who go into carnivore or go people who sort of like push that limit aren't regular people. You
That's
know,
true.
regular people are the ones who just follow the dogma and follow the guidelines, and it's so bleak back there. Like you don't know how many people I try to say, please just try to eat this way, and they're sick, they're tired, they're on like 15 medications. Like it breaks my heart to see this. You know how many
Hmm.
family members I've met that have died from completely preventable diseases, from diabetes. My mom died of Alzheimer's, completely preventable, because that's what happens when the neurodegenerative decline of something like diabetes. Like these things have destroyed. You know, my sister's father, he dropped dead. He had an aortic dissection. An aortic aneurysm. He had that. Boom, dropped dead. You know,
Wow.
I could shout out like at least 5 people who I know who died from completely preventable diseases. And this is what why I use my voice now and try to use whatever platform I can to try to, you know, save somebody. If they say, hey, the feeling of hopelessness is depressing. It is, you know, when I after my heart surgery, you know, and I guess I could show it, you know, a little bit, you know, after this, you know, I was depressed. I was damn near an alcoholic. I was damn near an alcoholic, and things that, you know, I went down a dark hole after almost dying. And you know, I don't know. And hearing Hope, hey, it was probably Primal Edge Health. You know, I don't know if you ever heard of him. You know, it's Primal Edge Health. He was on here, and just feeling hope. Like there's another way. Like for me to hear, listen, I understand that you have been misled by the medical system. Like, nihilism is easy in the medical world. Like, you when they tell you to eat less and move more, what does that mean? What sort of, what framework do you mean? I'm 500 pounds. It hurts me to stand up. What the fuck do you mean? Eat less, move more. What messaging is this? Where's the specifics? So it's very discouraging. So this is why I try to use this platform and use anything that I say to promote positivity and that there's a way out, because I don't want to go. I can't go back there, and to see people there, breaks me up. And I'm like, hey, listen, just try to eat this way. Just try for a week and see what happens.
Yeah. So when did you start with carnivore?
Probably a year ago.
Okay. And so
I,
how much weight did you lose on carnivore versus on keto?
oh, I haven't lost much weight. Much weight. Here's the thing. I right now am about 300 pounds, which is 200 pounds less, about 200 pounds less than my highest, right? And my weight has stalled, but my body composition has changed dramatically, which means I'm gaining muscle. The benefits of eating so much protein is the muscle building benefits. So I look like a different person, even though I actually weigh like a pound more than my lowest weight, and I look way better than I did.
So I think that is such an interesting thing that people say. And I too didn't really lose any more weight on carnivore, but I tightened up and sort of gotten denser and leaner looking. And and of course I got healthier. My asthma went away, my eczema got better, my allergies are gone, all kinds of gut trouble.
What's that?
Yeah. So all that stuff changed, and weight may be the last thing to ultimately go. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my brother tried carnivore and he did not lose any weight. And I don't think he lost any body composition either. But he also crash dieted a lot at a younger age. And he basically ate cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 6 months straight and lost as much weight as me in 6 months. And after he destroyed his hormone. And I was trying to explain to him, because this was years ago, and I was trying to explain to him, I understand your frustration, but this is how long it takes to repair hormones. I know it might be 10 years, but sometimes when you do something like that, it takes years. So that's why weight loss is the last thing, because it's your body stripping itself down, like stripping your body, stripping layers. Like, I'm losing a little bit of hair, like hair loss, like I have hair, have hair loss, but I'm losing a little bit more. But it's like my body is stripping itself of years of damage, of years of I have like 1,000 coats of paint of death under here,
Yeah.
So yeah, your body's going to break down in certain ways. So weight loss is probably the last. I feel like, because your body's going through a huge metabolic repair, but that's just my opinion and theory. It could be wrong, but I don't know. So far, I haven't been.
Yeah, but you are losing fat. If you're seeing body recomposition, you are losing fat, even if the absolute force that you exert against the earth doesn't change. You're losing fat, which is that's what we're looking for. So sounds like you are having really tremendous success, and I am so impressed with you, and I think that your story is really going to be captivating and inspiring for so many others. So tell me what does your day look like food wise? Like, what are you actually having? What does that look like?
Well, today, to be honest, I actually I cheated the past couple of days just due to a lot changing, and I said, screw it, let's celebrate. Like, life needs. My sister had a cookout, and I said, what, this is one of the days, like, I pick and choose when I say fuck it. So yeah, but today I'm gonna fast. I'm just not gonna eat. But typically what my days look like is, in the morning I'll eat maybe some eggs and bacon, and some cheese, which I'm getting tired of cheese, eggs, and bacon. And I notice I have American cheese. I get sick of it because it's fake. I get sick of it faster than, like, let's say, Kobe Jack or other cheese. So it's usually just, and of course, mad butter. So just eggs and bacon, cooked in butter, and then wouldn't eat until dinner time. I would just drink water or coffee, and dinner time I would just have a dinner time, which I like to eat at 4. I like to eat 4 or 5, and then I'm just good for the rest of the day. Go to sleep early, and that's a perfect day. But being
Mm-hmm.
inside the pandemic and being inside of the, everything sort of shifted. So
Mm-hmm.
learning how to work, you know, you know, off work, on your toes when you're offset. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning how to manage it when things are in chaos. That's the hardest
Mm-hmm.
part, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so if that solution is eat once a day, then that's the solution. If that means eat once every couple of days, that might be the solution. Like things are going to change. Like the whole reason why I started going super hard on carnivore is because what's happening right now. Like I was preparing for this. I think a lot of people who have been in the health space, and people in the health space do a lot of looking. We look a little bit deeper in things, and we've seen this coming. Like what's like, duh, anyone who's been paying attention to this knew that this was going to happen, and it's not done yet. The food
Yeah.
shortages are coming. Like fasting is coming back into my life, because I would rather eat nothing than eat McDonald's. And
Yeah.
and
I mean, I think that's really wise, and we may as well talk about what's happening in the world today. We've
About to get
gone
spicy.
through not only a pandemic and quarantine, but now massive protests across the country around the murder of George Floyd. So there there's a lot of unrest, and a lot of things may be we may not have access to some of the things that we need.
A
So
lot.
your ability to fast may be an asset, as
Oh yeah.
as it always has been in all of human history. Like,
Oh,
our
human
ability
history,
to fast is survival. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's great that you're getting back into exercising that muscle. And I too am
Yeah.
trying to
Oh
do
yeah.
that myself.
I've seen what Sean Baker's doing. I see him like he's
Mhm.
preparing for war. And not saying that's gonna happen. I don't want to throw anything out there. I don't want my words get minced. But this is the time. The food shortages aren't done. He may not be talking about what's going on right now. He's paying attention to the cattle industry. He's paying attention to the food industry, and what's happening. Like this is we're not done. You still
Right.
can't buy meat at Walmart in certain places. Like I still can't buy steak some places. But I've learned to use. You better get used to anyone who's watching. You better get used to organ meats. You better get used to beef cheek. You better get used to spleen. You better get used to liver. Um, I'm stocked up on liver. I'm good. I'm gonna. I'm not. It's not my favorite. But you want to get some meat on the cheap. You better look for some organ meats, because you're not going to find steaks or ribeyes soon. And the prices are going to go up. And I hope people know that the prices are. They are going to. Let's can we save this conversation? I don't like to get depressed so early in the morning.
Yeah, no, I understand. But I think you're really raising great points, that we should be thinking about food as a way to optimize our health, so that we can deal with all that life throws at us, and it throws a lot. So what are some of the mental benefits or have you noticed any mental benefits to eating this way?
Mental pen. How could
Hmm.
this conversation wouldn't happen if it wasn't for that.
Hmm.
The mental cognitive benefits of eating like that is it's crazy. So
Hmm.
there are some times when I am in bed and I am having fever dreams. My brain is going so fast, and I'm thinking of some. There's some times when sometimes I just don't sleep. I'll just be up writing stuff, making ideas. Um, and I don't think people who aren't in the space realize the difference. Because all it's doing is freeing up a bunch of hard drive space in your brain. Um, and yeah, so I'm sharper, faster, smarter. Look better. Libido's crazy.
Hmm.
Like anything. If you're watching this, anything that you do, I do better now. Anything that you do, like, and if you eat like this, anything you do, you'll do way better.
Hmm.
Anything. I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't even my best friend who eats junk and still looks good. If he ate like this, he would be. I mean, he would literally and figuratively be a fucking machine. You know what I'm saying? And that's a quadruple entendre.
I
But
got it. Took a second, but I got it.
Giggity, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the mental clarity is it's unreal. It's unreal.
And
In order,
those days after you have achieved, what is your mental like then?
well, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep. You know, I will eat carbohydrates sometimes to sleep. You know, I realize carbohydrates are a lever. You know, there are like a, you know, some, and that engine's revving too hard. Eat some carbohydrates, calm your, get that serotonin drop. Dopamine hit, and relax. So yes, but yeah, sometimes I eat carbs just to slow my brain down. You know, and that's crazy. It's crazy the tools that you can use for that. But yeah, I think
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. So now, would you welcome people to, come and ask you questions? There's a lot of people in our community that, eat just the way you described, have the same kind of, health issues as you describe and the weight issues you describe. And I'm sure they would love to get advice from you. So do you welcome people to reach out to you? How can people find you?
Oh, absolutely. Give me 1 second. People can reach out to me. Ask me any questions. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. On Instagram, I go by bigguytips.official, and which I'm probably going to change that, but I'll let you guys know. But my YouTube channel is you can look up Aaron the Big Black Dude, and yeah, if you could put a link in, because it's always hard for me to try to answer that, because I don't want to turn people off. Like, this was a good conversation. I like talking to people because it helps balance out my mania. It helps balance, because I'm an intense guy. I'm sure you guys can, anyone who's watching this can see. This guy's a little jammed up. This is me. Like, I'm always sort of like this. But I don't want anyone to watch this, then go to my, if you want to go to Aaron the Big Black Dude, that's your choice. It's uncensored. It's a little crazy. It's wild. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody. Everything comes from love, 110%. But yeah, that's how you find me. And anyone who has questions, please, if you have questions about health, just hit me up on one of those, and I promise you I'll help you. That's all I want to do. My love's a little tough sometimes, but it's love. It all comes from the same place.
Well, I think, everybody has, a lot of stuff to share, and I bet your story and your assistance and your guidance would really be helpful. So anybody out there that's looking at this, go check him out. I think, you'll really find that you get a lot of helpful support. So
Yeah.
anything anything else that you'd like to share with us? Anything that I didn't ask you about or touch on? What's next for you?
Oh, what's next for me? That's
Mm-hmm.
funny. But I don't know. A lot of things. A couple stores opening up. Not mine personally, but I'm just working with a couple people. Maybe doing some video editing, graphic design. I'm a artistic savant, as well as, a magician and lover. and yeah, so I'll be doing that. I'll be wrapped up in that for quite some time. If you look at the Aaron the Big Black Dude channel, some more videos will be coming up. I hope it's gonna be less. It's gonna be less aggressive. I promise you guys. If I scare you, I'm gonna tone it down. Then that's it. That's what's going on. A lot of work going on. You see the shop. This is somewhere I'm working at. Partnering up with somebody, and there'll be more stuff like that coming out in the future.
All right. Well, awesome. So thank you so much for talking to us today. And I really enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to hearing more from you.
Yeah, this is going to be my test interview. So if if anyone watches it and they don't like it, I won't be hearing from them next. But hopefully the test is good.
Yes, I am quite sure. All right, great. So I look forward to talking again soon. All right.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.